make some plays when needed. And so for them to go into Buffalo and win is something I truly believe they can do.
Yeah, they have the Ravens next, by the way. Seahawks are visiting the Falcons. Sam Darnold will face a young and hungry Falcons defensive line, and he weighed in on that challenge and what this game will demand.
They got really good talent. Just, watching it on tape, like the speed and the power that they rush with. Like I said, it's going to be a really big challenge for us. I think step one is communication, like I said, and kind of rolling from there. Just after communicating, all being on the same page, and then being able to use obviously fundamentals and technique to get them blocked up.
And what Atlanta excels at defensively, what should Seattle's game plan be?
Well, they got to figure out the blitz because while they may have killed Minnesota last week, both Sam Darnold and I thought the Seahawks offensive line really struggled with some of Brian Flores' admittedly very exotic pressures. But Raheem Morris is going to do the same. He's going to heat him up. I think going forward, all defenses are going to try to do this. And I thought Sam at times, Dan, you can speak to this as well, looked either rattled by where the pressure was coming from or rushed in ways that he didn't earlier in the season. So that's something they've got to get resolved because I really do think they're going to continue to see it.
Yeah, right guard is a significant concern in Seattle right now, but equally for me with Sam Darnold is he's doing things that get him in trouble, and he's not getting in trouble with it because he's just catching the break. And that's he's been so good this year of listening to his feet, not holding on to the football, making sure that he was clicking through progressions. And over the past couple weeks, and specifically this past Sunday, it's reverting back to some of the things that were the demons of the past.
Yeah.
And he might get away with it against Minnesota, and he might get away with it against Atlanta. But this is a team that is a Super Bowl caliber team. Stop doing that stuff. That stuff. Because just because you don't get away with, or just because it doesn't create bad stuff for you, doesn't mean it won't create bad stuff for you in the future.
You're going to punish him.
Or Santa
Stop doing.
Doing good. Yeah, another good challenge this week. Obviously going against this team, Coach Morris and Coach Holbrook over there have a really good scheme with really good players. So just another week for us to be sharp, have a really good week of practice, and go out there and execute. Yeah, they are a really good blitzing team. I think just rush and coverage all kind of working together. But again, kind of like Minnesota, and any team that pressures well against the quarterback, they're really smart. They're tied together in the back end and with the pressure. So again, we kind of like I just said, we got to do a really good job during the week of preparing for everything and going from there. Yeah, I think just overall communication is the biggest thing. Making sure we're all on the same page, especially in a loud environment, being on the road. So we just got to continue to improve that and go on from there.
Throwing the ball a ton in the second half when you're playing from ahead. But did you like the adjustments you made from what Minnesota was doing? And
Yeah.
they're bringing?
Yeah, I thought we made some good adjustments at the half for sure. Just again, like I said, we just gotta continue to improve on things that we can improve, and for me, that's understanding when I'm going to be hot, when to get the ball out of my hands.
Crazy that any quarterback who's hold on the ball once you guys get hit. Is it just kind of luck when it falls out, or are there strategies to hold on to it?
Yeah, I think it's all the work that you put in the off season. Off season including working in Orange County when I'm at home, and then it's when we get here in April, when we get here in training camp, and then throughout the week, like just being really good about keeping two hands on the ball at all times. Whether I'm trying to escape the pocket or I'm in the pocket. There's some things you can't avoid, but again, just being really hard on myself. I got to continue to hold on to the football.
Young guys up front, how much of it is their talent, their skills versus the scheme they've been put in to get some of those sacks?
Yeah, I think it all works together, like I said, but they got really good talent. Just watching it on tape, like the speed and the power that they rush with. Like I said, it's going to be a really big challenge for us. I think step one is communication, like I said, and kind of rolling from there. Just after communicating, all being on the same page, and then being able to use obviously fundamentals and technique to get them blocked up.
When you look at the film, what did you see of how they defended JSN and what you guys expected to do to counter that?
Yeah, I think, whether it's rolling the safety over the top, just straight up doubling, and some of the certain techniques that they were playing, just kind of understanding when that's happening, having a plan for it, understanding what routes he might be able to get open, on those certain things, but also for me having a good understanding of when to move on in the progression.
A lot of us focus on downfield throws and difficulties in getting those. What are some of the challenges for the screen game, timing, and getting the pass around all that traffic?
Yeah, I think again it's something that you got to work on. You got to work on the screen game, especially going against different looks on third down. They have different fronts and different pressures. Running screens against man coverage are a lot different than running screens versus zone. So it's just being ready for all those things, and again going through all that throughout the week, and just being ready for all the different looks in the screen game.
How do you feel like the connection with Redick has been coming as you guys had the least amount of time to kind of get on the same page compared to the other guys?
Yeah, it's great. I think just being able to work, as consistently as we can throughout the week to get full speed reps, and we're not, when we're not able to get, all the reps, just being able to talk about the routes, and I think the dialogue and just being able to talk to each other really helps out with kind of my understanding of where he's going to be, and for him to understand kind of what I'm thinking with certain routes.
Going back to Jack, Michael McDonald mentioned Cody's catch as an example of like, all right, they do this to Jack, somebody does this thing. What was different about, or what worked well, I guess, on Cody's catch there versus some of the other times that they were giving attention to Jackson?
Yeah, I think, just for me, it's playing fast and understanding kind of what the coverage is and when to move on in progression. Not only when it's Jack's, but when it's somebody else as well, and understanding when to move on, I guess, in the progression. And that goes for everyone. Like I said, like if we're running a concept versus we want single high and it's cloud, like just being able to move on and go through my progressions like I would in training camp. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all? I'm here in Atlanta, GA, you know what I'm saying? I'm on the road. My man CC, my man Sergeant Friday, a.k.a. Jeff Saturday, is in studio with my girl Shay Cornett. But the bottom line is this. I'm still here to do the A-list, okay? Approach week 30, I'm still here to do the A-list. Keep in mind, the list is fluid. The list is fluid. It's very, very important today that y'all understand that, Jeff Saturday. Don't mess with me. It is fluid, okay? And it will absolve me from nonsense. Give me number 5 on that list, please, right now. Bam! Just so everybody knows what time it is, it's the Los Angeles Rams. They are coming off a loss, okay? I don't like the way they look in that loss, but let's keep it a buck. It's an aberration. We don't ever need to expect Matthew Stafford to throw a couple of interceptions again and turn the ball over 3 times. They still had a chance to win the damn game. The Los Angeles Rams has an elite defense. Obviously, Carolina caught them on an off day, and they got the best of them. But that's not something that we could say is more than an anomaly. We know what the Rams bring to the table, from their coaching to their quarterback to their skill positions, etc. They're a top 5 team in the National Football League right now. Despite the loss, I dropped them to 5, but I wasn't dropping them out of the 5. They just ain't top 4 right now. Give me number 4 on the list, please, right now. Bam! There you have it. It's right there for you to see. That's for you, Shea. They moved up a spot from last week to stroll into Lincoln Financial Field on the road and not only beat the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, but beat them up, stirring all kinds of controversy in the mix, because now we're looking at everything about the Philadelphia Eagles. We're looking at the quarterback. We're looking at the running back. We're looking at the offensive coordinator, who, by the way, unfortunately, got his house vandalized. A bunch of people threw a bunch of eggs on his house and stuff like that because they're so disgusted with how the offense see. Still not justifying that. People need to know. But nevertheless, it speaks to the ire that the Eagles are experiencing right now because of their fan base is completely and utterly disgusted with them. The Bears didn't help the Eagles one bit, but they certainly helped themselves. Put everybody on notice. Their number one ranking in the NFC in terms of record and being a division leader is no joke. They are no fluke. They are a team to be reckoned with. Credit to Ben Johnson. Obviously.